We're seeing this, concerted effort to erase history and in schools, in history books.
Disgusting, as I call them, yeah.
DeSantis in Florida, and you're trying to push the ball in the other direction, which is let's look at our history. Let's look at the contributions of this.
We have to push back. We have to fight against that attempt to take our history out that we're trying to put back in because it's not in there. If American history books aren't accurate, they're fiction. It's a fiction. If you don't put all the things that really happened, we Latin people are the only ethnic group that has fought in every single war America's ever had, and we're the most awarded in each of those wars. And I'm talking about the American Revolution. Those stories are nowhere to be seen. They're nowhere written. And so this fight, we need to double down on the fight and protect and stay woke. Even though they're making it sound like being woke is a bad thing, it's a great thing.
Yeah. Did y'all just hear this crackpot claim that they fought in every single war, Latin people? I'm sorry, but the war of 1812, the Civil War, that was the Buffalo Soldiers that fought in that war. They fought against the Spaniards. I'm serious, and you can look it up. There's no evidence to show Latinos fought in the American Revolutionary War, the War of 1812, and the Civil War. Black American Buffalo Soldiers fought the Spaniards. The American War, the Spanish-American War, 1898 to free Colombia, Puerto Rico, and the Philippines. Black Americans. Well, what everybody call them foundational Black Americans. They fought that. The Mexicans fought in the Confederate War. They fought for the Confederacy. Yeah, maybe some black too, but mostly all the Mexicans fought for the Confederacy. This man is so delusional. And let's not forget that Fat Joe said that Latinos co-created hip-hop and now Latinos built America. And black people need to refute these lies and liars. First of all, there's no Latino that created hip-hop. Because people can even trace hip-hop all the way back to West Africa, capoeira, the breakdancing. Some African dancers have the same moves of breakdancing that the slaves brought over here when they was enslaved. And as usual, different African culture, because they're like 45 African, tribes and ethnic groups that was enslaved. Ethnic groups, like 45 ethnic groups that was enslaved. All them ethnic groups, mainly the Igbo and the Yoruba and some other groups, from Ghana, they mixed their cultures together because they got mingled up in one group. So they mixed mass cultures together and they started bringing different new cultures together because they lost the old language since it was beaten out and names taken away. They mixed it together and created something brand new called hip hop that took like years to form. Because you look through all the type of videos all over the internet, foundational Black Americans, that's dancing during the 50s, 60s, and 70s, doing all these dances that's found its way into hip hop and all other African American dances. The only thing right this fool said was that being woke is not a bad thing, it's a great thing. Yeah, and he's not woke. He's being asleep. He's drowning. It's the opposite of woke is that you're sleeping, you're sleepwalking, you're dreaming. And he need to wake up. Latinos did not build America. This washed up ass comedian whose career ain't really going anywhere no more. This would happen to all these actors and get to be a certain age, their hairlines start receding. They recede back to a fantasy world and try to live it. They didn't fight and do anything. I don't know what history he talking about. He just taking Black American fighting points, talking points, our contribution in that fighting and trying to take it. Latin is a European country. Latin, not a European country. Latin is a European language. It came from Western Europe. That's still part of white culture. That's European culture. The Romans spoke Latin. And last time I checked, the Romans are still European. That makes them white. Their skin is all of a color. And white was just something kind of skin classification they used for people who stayed inside because their skin was so pale they didn't go outside, so they never tan. That's how that came about. Only people who was outside working had olive skin or tan skin because the sun tanned their skin. And some kind of classification thing they had. It was a class system. People with pale skin were seen as wealthy and powerful because they stayed indoors and had people working for them. And people with darker skin were seen as dirt poor because they had to do all the work outside. Y'all just heard that from John Leguizamo. Only thing that was factual, what he said, was about being woke, about him saying woke is a bad thing, but it's a great thing. Yes, woke is a great thing because you don't want we're all being a drought, which is somebody sleepy and tired and don't know what the hell going on in the world. Woke is consciousness and being aware of your surroundings and knowing what's going on and living in reality and not a fiction. Now, John Leguizamo made a very bold statement by saying that Latino fought in every war American had, even the Revolutionary War. I beg to differ, because the Latinos did not even fight in the American Revolutionary War. Americans didn't fight. They didn't fight in a lot of wars with Americans. I don't know what the hell John Leguizamo getting it from. He had no facts to back up his statement. The last time I checked, a lot of y'all claim to be Latino. Some of y'all was Native Americans. A lot of Native Americans getting fight in a lot of the Revolutionary War. They stayed on reservation and mind their own business. Probably 1 or 2 was there, and that's about it. Anytime they're most awarded for all the wars, there's no proof of that either. Like I said, you see that movie Wind Talkers with Nicolas Cage in it? That guy was Native American. Now, I doubt they was even identifying Latino because a lot of people was even identifying as Latino. I think the whole term Latino didn't come into like the 70s or early 90s or mid 90s. But John Leguizamo is brought about one thing. If American fiction is accurate, if American history is one thing John Leguizamo is right about, if American history book is not accurate, then it's fiction. But he needs to understand this. The victories are always written by the victors. History is always written by the victors. We all know that. The losers don't write the history. And what he needs to understand is, the term Latino was not even used really to the late 40s. And a lot of people didn't even identify as Latino. Because Latino is a very broad term like America. Because you got your Black American, your European Americans or white Americans. You have, your Asian American, your Mexican American, your Latino American, Colombian American. Then you go to Latin America, you have the same problem there. You have, because Asian people can also be identified as Latino. This if they have roots down there by what I just read to you. As long as you got roots down there, they can be classified as Latino because they grew up down there. Asians have their own culture. They still can, equip Latino culture to them. You got your Black Latinos, your Black Mexicans, your Afro-Ricans, your Afro-Cubans. You have your European Latinos, such as, Portuguese, Brazil. You got some Puerto Ricans down there. Because Puerto Ricans is just, an island. A lot of people identify there. You got your Native Americans who identify as Latino, some of them because of the mixture. You got some mestizo. It's all confusing. So what are you talking about? You talking about the Spanish language? There's different types of variety of Spanish language. Your Portuguese, even French is part of Latin language, and so is Italian. So I have no clue what this fool is talking about. See, that's a very screwed up thing to have. It's a very mixture of things to do in different Latino cultures. Some same, some not, some from Spain. And you got your Greco-Roman, Roman's part of Latino culture as well. You can research this and look where the origin of Latino came from. Here's another clip of a European, scholar debunking all this nonsense. So I have no clue what this fool is talking about. He trying to talk Latino food and politics and culture. He's just not making any sense. It's like, this now is a big push. It's like they push with the Asians. Now that'll die down. Now the reparations are more taking full effect. Now all of a sudden, John Leguizamo is coming out with the Latino stuff. Remember, they did Latino when black people fight against pushing back against police brutality. They come out with saying Latinos was always being attacked by cops. A lot of Latino police officers had been known to attack black people. And also been known to be a lot of Latino Nazis down in Latin America who attack black people. Y'all both follow the same ideologies as white supremacists, so I have no clue what this fool is even talking about. See, segregation didn't apply to them because they were considered white at the time, because a lot of Latinos, predominant people in Latin America, are white. They're descended from European, the conquistadors. Spain, which is a European country, that's still white. However you slice it, it's still gonna come out as being white. You can't get over it or deny it. I don't know why I don't know what John Leguizamo is up to, but the dude is a straight up lame. That's why I don't believe in this POC, these people of color, this rainbow coalitionary nonsense. It's a pipe dream that should never come to be passed. It should never be spoken in black circles.
I mean, we do. We tend to sort of glorify Mexican American certain moments in Mexican American civil rights past. And there was this famous case in Orange County, and we look back, and there was even a stamp to put on. We have a stamp to commemorate it. But you look closely, Mexican American advocates in that case were not trying to say segregation is bad. They were saying it just doesn't apply to us. We're white.
Testing. Oh, look at this. Look. Now look. Now see, you Google when the term Latino started, it tells you that, when did the term Latino arise. The Oxford English Dictionary traces its uses to 1946. Juan Francisco Martinez writes that Latinos had its origins in the French term American Latino, coined in the mid-19th century to justify eras of Americas colonized by Romance-speaking people and used to justify French intervention in Latin America affairs. Now, you look at what's going on, you keep going back to like Romance and France. All these eras are European, and you trace their roots back. That's where it comes from. So he talking about that Latino fought in every single war. You still talk about Europeans because Latinos have their roots in Europe. Then, now you further investigate this whole term called Latinx. The term Latinx emerged in the early 21st century, reportedly first used online in 2004. Latinx is a gender-neutral. Now, see, we need to get this straight because I don't know where John Leguizamo keep getting all this crap from. That he has this big, huge problem. I don't know, getting this guy careers that's going south for some reason. And he has come up with a lot of stupid behind ideology all of a sudden. This is something that this clown has to say. I'm serious. This clown said that the oldest ethnic group rebuilt this country. We Latino people are the only ethnic group that has fought in every single war America has ever had, and we are the most awarded. He also said that crap in that video also that I played in the beginning of this video, that clip I played. When did this happen? The last time I checked, the Buffalo Soldiers, they fought in the war. They fought against the Cherokees because the Buffalo Soldiers was a regiment there. They had a whole bunch of them. Now let's look at what John Leguizamo said about Latino fighting in every war. Now look, it says, they would say about the Buffalo Soldiers. Now the Buffalo Soldiers, it said American plain Indians who fought against these soldiers referred to the black cavalry troops as Buffalo Soldiers because of their dark, curly hair, which resembled a buffalo's coat, and because of their fierce nature of fighting. The nickname soon became synonymous with all African American regiments formed in 1866. That's the Buffalo Soldiers. Now we move on to the Tuskegee Airmen, who was also nicknamed Red Tails. The Tuskegee Airmen were a group of African American military pilots and airmen who fought in World War II. They founded the 332 Fires Group and the 477 Bombardment Group of the United States Army Air Force. And they were founded in 1941. But the strange thing about it, the term Latino was not used in 1949. And all Latinos did not consider themselves Latino. And here is Patton's Panthers. Patton Panthers are African American, 766. Patton's Panther, the African American 761st Tank Battalion in World War II. Now, this is the Harlem Hellfires. Now, the Harlem Hellfires, it said this is by histories.com, the historychannel.com. This is their website, and it states this. The Harlem Hellfires, and it states this. The Harlem Hellfires were the African American infantry unit in World War I who spent more time in combat than any other American unit. Despite their courage, sacrifice, and dedication to their country, they returned home to face racism and segregation from their fellow countrymen. Now, how about that? Now, did he say that Latino fought in every war and they're most awarded for all their combat skills and everything? But according to history.com, these African American troops in Harlem Hellfires, the Harlem Hellfire troop, they had more combat skill, more combat time than any other American unit. Period. Where did he get his facts from? It's like these lies float by and he snatched them out of midair. Now you could type in Latino fought in Civil War. He said they fought in Civil War. Well, you type in with Latino fight in Civil War. This is what it said. It said it changed to the Mexicans. Now it said this. Thousands of Mexican Americans joined the Confederacy, but even more joined the unit. Mexican American soldiers fought off a unit general at the Battle of Verde in 1862. Now let's check this out. It said, did Mexico help the Axis powers? Now, the Axis power was the Nazi power, which include Germany and Japan and for a few others. It said Mexico formally declared war on the Axis power in support of the Allies on May 2022, 1942, following the loss of oil ships in the Gulf of Mexico, mostly notable the Porteo Diallo and Faja de Duero to German submarine attacks. I think I butchered both those names. I really hope I got them names pronounced right because I do speak a little Spanish, but I hope I got the pronunciation right for both of those. I think the last one I kind of butchered a little bit, but you kind of get what I'm trying to say. Hopefully somebody who speaks Spanish or from Spanish people will come by and probably correct it because I haven't spoken Spanish probably since I was 12 years old. Now back on topic, John Leguizamo is not even talking about what war. He's saying every war, but he is not giving specifics. Mostly was fighting in World War II, most of them. And it wasn't really all Latinos. It was just the Mexicans. He's not being specific about that. And then when you look up how many Mexicans died in World War II, it says some estimates say that up to 15,000 Mexican-born soldiers fought in World War II. Of these, 1,492 were injured, perished in prison, or disappeared altogether. Several Mexican soldiers were awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor in both the Pacific and European companies. That's really it. And this information came out in 2021. He's not even talking about this. He is saying that they're most awarded. I just gave you the number of how many people probably was injured and everything else disappeared. And they say how many. They don't really say how many was awarded, but they do give specifics on that. It said, no, this is about Portugal. Why didn't Portugal join World War II? Now, this one states, this one asks the question, why didn't Portugal join World War II? And it states, so when World War II started, Salazar kept Portugal neutral with two main promises. First, to keep the alliance treaty with England, probably the oldest arrangement between states in the world. Second, to stay closer to Hitler and the fascist Axis forces aligned with his political ideology. So they was, it seemed more like they're trying to play both sides. They keep peace with England. At the same time, they still want to be closer to Hitler. So it's like you can't really trust the Portugal in that time period because they're trying to keep the August tree, the August arrangement that they had, with England. Then at the same time, they want to stay closer to Hitler and his Axis forces. So you look at a lot of them did not compete in every war. Most of you have probably a lot of Mexicans, they was part of a lot of the war efforts. And it's probably some Puerto Ricans because they did say, I think at one point in time they did send some Puerto Ricans to the Tuskegee Airmen Forces to train underneath the Tuskegee Airmen field pilots. That was in aviation. That's about it. But other than that, there wasn't a lot of Latinos involved in it. There's only certain fractions, like Mexico was probably one of the huge fractions of the Latinos. See, he's not being specific on that. He is blurting out random things and trying to look all Latinos and saying, no, it wasn't. From our research, mainly that's Mexico. A lot of the Mexicans was helping out with the war efforts. A few Puerto Ricans, that's about it. Because those are two main ones that I found so far. But other than that, I have not found any other else that he has said. Colombian, I think, stay isolated for most time, which is what John Leguizamo is. Colombian, not Puerto Rican. And you look up a lot of stuff and research for yourself and find that John Leguizamo is grasping at straws. And also, I'm going to say this before I end this video. If John Leguizamo really care about all this, what he's stating in all these videos that he be saying, all these posts, he's an actor. And most actors transition to filmmakers and producers and have their own production company. Create your own production company and tell the story and do documentaries with actual facts in it instead of going on newsreels and sitting on news couches and, just blocking your ugly face on news things like on Fox News. I mean, there's a lot of other producers out there, a lot of actors have their own production company where they can produce what they're saying, they can back what they're saying, they actually getting facts done. This guy just trying to have some kind of headway, just kind of get some buzz going around for some reason. This just seems like somebody who created adrenaline, I guess. I don't really know what's going on in his situation. I can say this though, Denzel Washington has his own production company. Steven Spielberg has his own production company. Joe Lucas has his, but he sold it to Disney, but he still had one. A lot of guys would pass about filmmaking from directors, filmmakers, the actors, have started their own production company. Anthony Mackie got his. So I think Snoop Dogg got one. Ice Cube has his. He had Q Vision, then there at West Side, he has his own production company that did all the Blade movies. Where John Leguizamo production company at? Because he's so passionate about what he's saying about Latinos and all this other stuff. Go do some documentaries. I mean, you're an actor. You only have to do is just start your own production company and just hire from filmmakers to go out there and do it for you. Get somebody to actually properly research everything, and boom, you're done. Because you've been around for years, so you got a lot of clout and everything. You got a lot of people that back you up on everything you're saying. You have to present some facts. But you're sitting on the couch running your mouth. You're sitting on some kind of news cameras running your mouth. And you're not backing yourself up. You're just blurting out things about saying what's Latinos. You're saying you found all these Latino excellence everywhere. Why didn't you shoot a documentary of it? I mean, most people do document themselves. I mean, Michael Blackson, that African comedian, I think he's from Senegal. He was over there documenting some stuff that he was doing. He's a comedian. Aren't you an actor / comedian? Why aren't you doing the same thing, John Leguizamo was, I'm now calling him. Y'all let me know your thoughts and comment section below. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe to the channel for more.